So welcome to another episode of Coffee with Paul. In fact, it's been a long time since I've said that. And if you are watching this on YouTube, it's also been a long time since I've posted on this channel. And if you're wondering what's been happening, I've still been busy. I've still been creating a lot of content, but a lot of the content I've been creating has been on other platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also TikTok. So I really wanted to kind of get back to this long form video. I wanted to get back to Coffee with Paul, and I was sitting here a minute ago, poured myself a fresh cup of coffee and thought to myself, why don't I do it? Why don't I answer a couple of questions? I've rounded them all up and just start reconnecting, because if I'm honest, I'm recording this during obviously lockdown. I'm recording, as you can probably tell, I look like I've been kidnapped. I'm recording this during a difficult time, and I wanted to put this together because for me, there's no more, there's such a real importance to connect with you guys, but also at the same time answer some of these questions, because hopefully the advice and the honesty that I'm going to be sharing with some of these questions may help you. So without further ado, I've got all of these questions in front of me. I firstly want to ask, how are you? So please let me know in the comments, how have you been? Would really appreciate that if you can reconnect. I'm going to take a sip of this fresh coffee, and then we're going to jump into Coffee with Paul. Beautiful. Black Americano, the way that I do it. Right. How are you dealing with the lockdown personally? Personally, I'm okay. What I'm finding now as I record this is about week 4 of me personally being in lockdown, and I'm kind of adjusting to a new norm. Now, what I'm actually more worried about is when we go back to normality, and how we're then going to adjust to that. So I don't know if any of you can relate, but when we first started this, you're almost adjusting to it. Now you're almost getting used to it a little bit more. You've adapted to it. Now it's almost how's life going to be after lockdown? But I'm doing well. I've learned a lot as well. I've really enjoyed spending more time with family, working from home, which I used to do. And I don't know, it's a sad situation, but I don't know, it just seems calmer. And I've been reflecting a lot, and I quite like that. So personally, I'm dealing with it okay, although it has been a bit like that. So I'm not just sitting here saying that I'm dealing with it perfectly. It's definitely been a roller coaster of emotions. Question 2, you've been open about your dark days. What was the biggest change for you that helped you get to where you are today? Biggest change is very difficult, because I look back. The darkest period of my life, which I've been very open about, was when I lost my dad to suicide back in 2009, so when I was 18. And I turned 30 yesterday, so now I look at that and it seems like a long time ago, and that's given me now, I was nearly 19, so it's given me 11 and a bit years of dealing with that. And I'm in a much better place now than I was, but I was in some really dark places, and I've been very vocal about that, as this question kind of alludes to. But there wasn't a massive kind of light switch moment. So I don't want to make that clear. I don't want to say this is the one thing that I did and this is going to dramatically change your life if you do it. Because for me, it was a series of stuff. It was the journey of just years and years of dealing with different kind of challenges and facing them head on. So I wouldn't say there was one biggest change, but the catalyst for me was talking about it. It was going and seeing Anne, who was the therapist that helped me, going and seeing her and finding that one person that I felt okay and safe to speak about my dad's suicide and the moments I was experiencing at that time. That for me was really the catalyst. So that for me was the start of then me answering lots of other questions, doing a lot of other things that make me, into the person that I am today. So even though I would not say there was just one big change, one light bulb moment, because it was still a long process, a long journey, and life is, going and seeing Anne and getting it off my chest and talking about it for the first time and working through those problems rather than ignoring them and suppressing them was the catalyst for me. So if you are watching this and you're in that dark time, I stepped away from talking about it and going to therapy and ignored it and suppressed it for as long as I possibly could until I found myself in a very dark place, a place that I would never want to go into again. And that place I slowly climbed out of thanks to going and seeing Anne, thanks to going to a therapist and talking about it and working through those problems. So for me, that has been the biggest change for me. You've said in a recent live stream you love TikTok. What do you like about it? So I've been doing a lot of lives on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. And I've been doing a lot of lives with my little boy, Freddie, who's my oldest. And we've been talking about mental health from a child and a parent's perspective. In fact, we did a video recently and it got picked up by BBC. I say picked up, a friend of mine sort of put us forward and pulled a couple of people's sort of, did what he had to do. And we got featured on CBBC News Round. And these live streams have been really, really good. It's a good chance of me spending some time with him and seeing how he feels after it is amazing. Like, he wants to do more and more stuff like this. And TikTok, I said in a recent live stream that I love TikTok. Why do I love TikTok? I love TikTok because, one, from a consumer point of view, I spend hours on it. Like, if you're not on TikTok, you just do this. You just do this for like an hour, and then you look at your watch and you realize, oh, I don't know how I've spent the last hour doing this. It's great, like short videos. It's easy to kind of just get lost in it. But from a creator point of view, I don't know. I'm nearly at 30,000 followers on TikTok, and from a creator point of view, it's not about the followers. It's about who I'm influencing on TikTok, and a lot of it's the younger generation. And I think to myself, if I can have that impact on the younger generation, and I can hopefully inspire them or help them with their mental health, that for me is game changing. So that's why I love TikTok the most, is who's on that platform, the feedback that I'm getting, the messages that I'm getting as well. People saying, I've seen your video on TikTok and it helped me, do this. It helped me, feel a bit better. Like, that for me is why I love TikTok in general. What made you decide to stop creating fashion videos and start creating mental health videos? Again, with this question, it wasn't just one change. There was a series of events that happened. The first thing was a meetup, an event that I went to. During it, we did a meditation. It was a business event. And part of that meditation, there was an exercise about forgiveness. And I'd done a lot of this personally, forgiving myself, forgiving my dad. And that really helped. But off the back of that meditation, and during that meditation, I think it was, I had this real desire. And he was talking about sort of aligning your passions and your purpose, your meaning in life. And I had this real desire to help people like my dad. I could see myself helping people like my dad in some capacity. And then that turned into me kind of brainstorming it out. And I said to myself, right, I could write a blog post. So I wrote a blog post that then went onto Huffington Post. I got amazing feedback from that. I remember, I'll be honest with you guys, I remember crying my eyes out when the article went live. And I still get goosebumps now. When the article went live and the emails that I received, like people saying how it helped them deal with maybe, someone that they'd lost to suicide or someone in that situation, it really helped them understand it as well a little bit more, and, how thankful they were for me writing it. That then turned into a video on my YouTube channel, even though I was still doing fashion videos at the time. And then it went on to more and more and more. Then I did a talk at StyleCon in Atlanta with Aaron Marino, Antonio Centano from Real Men Real Style. A lot of those guys, they trusted me enough to step on stage and talk about my story in depression in men. And I did that. But even then, I still didn't really go all in until like a year after that. So it was kind of like a lead up. Does that make sense? It wasn't just one thing that made me start talking about it. But for me, the reason why I did it is I kind of fell out of love. I didn't really have that passion for the videos around fashion that I was doing. That for me was really more, if I'm honest, again, 100% business for me. Whereas talking about mental health and the goosebumps that I still get now when people say it helped them is the reason why I started to create more. Do you still think that appearance is important to help with how you feel? 100%. Like, today, I'm working from home, but I got up, I went for a run with my two boys, then I come home, I had a shower. I still spend time kind of, doing my hair, putting a shirt on, all of that, because I still believe that if I feel, I've got aftershave on, even though I'm working from home, I still feel like a lot of that helps, right, with how I feel. And when I go out, if I'm looking good, I feel good. And for me, it doesn't answer every question. Like when I dressed extremely well, but sort of my mindset wasn't in a good place, I'd get compliments, but they were very short-lived. Whereas now it's like a part of the ingredients to make me feel the best that I can. Like if I don't go out and I don't dress well and I'm not, groomed and I'm not feeling good about how I'm looking, it can have an impact on how I'm feeling. So 100% appearance for me is still so important to help you with how you feel. How do you manage anxiety when things become unbearable? It's okay to suggest coping techniques, but when it's really hard to deal with, what can I do? It's a really good question. I'm guessing from this question, it's more about like when you're in that moment, and I've done videos about panic attacks before. Some of the techniques aren't applicable when you're in that real sort of state of panic. Like when your anxiety is extremely, extremely heightened, when you're in that state of panic, a lot of the coping strategies that people talk about and I talk about go out the window because you need to deal with it there and then. And for me, I think back to when I used to experience panic attacks. A lot of it comes back to two things. And again, they seem very simple, but when you apply them over and over and over again, it, for me, dramatically helps it. The first one is breathing. And again, we neglect breathing a lot, but it's kind of controlling your breathing. So when we're having panic, that breathing is going to be, fast paced. So it's kind of focusing on that breathing, and we can do simple ones such as 4-2-6, which is breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 2, out for 6 seconds. You can do box breathing, in for 4, out for 4, in for 4, out for 4, but kind of imagining a box as you're doing that. I've got this Apple Watch that keeps beeping because I don't know how to figure out how to turn it off yet. I haven't played with it. I got this yesterday. And one of the exercises on it is a simple breathing exercise, and you kind of just follow it as it goes in and out. And again, breathing in those moments dramatically help, because if you can control your breathing, it will start to slow down and it will start to help with that panic. And then the second thing is affirmations. So when we're in that state of panic, a lot of negative affirmations will start to kick in. Like, are people seeing me? All of the panic's going to be kind of racing in your mind. It's very hard to deal with. So for me, reaffirming with positive affirmations during that time can help. Now, those two things for me helps with conditioning. It helps with dealing with it when it starts to happen again. And, touch wood, I haven't had a panic attack for a couple of years now, because I use those two over and over again. It takes a lot of practice, but breathing techniques and positive affirmations can really help. So if you're in that state of panic, that's the two things that I would say to you. My friends are struggling, but I find it hard to help them, especially now. What can I do? Now, I would just say reach out. Connect with them, maybe use video chat, especially during this time, because video chat humanizes that conversation, that connection. But the one thing that I would always say with this question is, you can only do as much as you possibly can. Like I always say, learning from my dad's experience, what I did wrong, because it's the education that I had, is I tried to support my dad with solutions. I didn't support him with love and compassion. So I would say, if you're trying to support someone, just show them love, show them that compassion, and don't try and solve their problems for them. It's about letting them know that you're there. It's about letting them know that you're there if they ever want to talk, but it really does come down to them. So I would just kind of put that out to them. So instead of me saying to my dad, give you a practical example, Dad, you got nothing to be depressed about? Let's go for a run. Or Dad, everything's going to be fine. Like, stop worrying. Like, let's go for a beer. Let's talk it through and everything will be fine. What I should have maybe said is, Dad, I don't understand what you're going through right now, and I know you might not talk to me because I'm your son, but I'm here to let you know that if you do ever want to talk to me, I'm here. I might not understand it, but I'm here to support you. I love you. And that's the main thing. And for me, that approach would have been different. I'm not there to try and solve his problems. I'm there to let him know that I love him, I care for him, and I'm there to listen when he's ready to tell me about what he's going through. So that's the advice that I would give to you. Next question, what does it feel like to be 30? I'm drinking more coffee to keep up the energy. No, it feels exactly the same as 29, right? I still feel young. I probably, to a lot of people keep saying, oh, you are young. I look at it like this now. I'm practicing patience. I'm 30. If I live my whole life again, I'm 60. I still think I'm quite young at 60, right? Because my granddad's 94, so I could live my whole life again and I'd be, still younger than my granddad. It feels fine. Like, I'm in a good place, and I feel like, I've learned a lot over the last 10 years in particular because of, losing my dad and everything that, I went through since then. So I feel in a very good place. Age is just a number, right? Favorite place to buy clothes. Reese is a favorite of mine. I've got some vouchers for Reese for my birthday. Mango Man, surprisingly enough, is a good one as well. And I'm also liking COS. I don't know if you guys have that where you are, but COS is one that I like as well. Next question, 4 things you've recently got that you now can't live without. First one is this, actually, believe it or not. I don't know whether it's just because I got it yesterday, but an Apple Watch. I was very skeptical about Apple Watches and smartwatches from a style point of view, but this has been really good in terms of like tracking activity, making sure that I'm going for runs, making sure that, I'm taking little breaks. Very good. What I would say about it though is the distractions a lot. It's like every email, everything, like even now, I'm just getting a text, I'm straight away looking at it. So I need to kind of figure that out to distract myself a little bit. But in terms of what I can do with it, sleep tracking, everything like that, I really, really like that. The other one is these. Again, I got these yesterday. AirPods. Like, I wanted them for a long time, and I was kind of holding out. These are great. Like, they're great for work. They're great because I can kind of like connect with my phone and my laptop. And again, it kind of seemed like a novelty when it first come out, but now I've got them. They're hugely, hugely important. The third one is here somewhere. It is. And when I say can't live without, I just would recommend it to anyone. It's this book here. It's Let Go Now, Embracing Detachment by Karen Casey. I've been learning a lot about detachment recently because I'm an empath and because I'm always, I'm getting better at it, but I'm a people pleaser. I'm worrying about what people think of me. This for me is great. Detaching from things that we can't control. And this has been game changing. And then the fourth one, something that I cannot live without, I would say some running shoes, because I'm doing a lot of running, and the running shoes that I've got are the Innovate ones. So the Innovate Road Runners, I'll try and link up to them. If I don't, remind me in the comments. Innovate Road Running shoes, they're ones that I can't live without as well. 3 books that you'd recommend to someone wanting to improve their mindset. I think, is it 12 Rules of Life? Is it 12 Rules of Life? Jordan Peterson. That one, I would say Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now. And then the other one I would say is Unevered Soul by Michael Singer. Is it Michael Singer? I think it is, yeah. Unevered Soul, Michael Singer. 12 Rules of Life, Jordan Peterson, and Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Those 3, there's loads more, but those 3 are ones that I would say off the top of my head. How do you deal with procrastination and getting motivated personally? I still struggle with motivation and procrastination a lot. I would say it depends on you. Like, you have to figure out what works for you. For me, I would rather prioritize the beginning of my day. So for example, I would write on my whiteboard 1 or 2 priorities that I have to hit. And when I hit them, I'm happy. And then the rest would follow then after that. The other thing that I would say to deal with procrastination is just get some bits ticked off. So on your to-do list, you might have, small mundane tasks like deal with my inbox or message this person or, put the washing out or whatever it is. Like, get those tasks done, tick, tick, tick. And then that will give you a bit more momentum to kind of get motivated. The other thing that I would say is don't judge yourself. Like, just do your best. If you're having a bad day and you're not motivated, you're procrastinating, just don't worry about it. The more you beat yourself up, the more pressure you have and you put on yourself. So I would say every day is different. Like, some days I'm super motivated and super productive. Other days I just cannot be bothered and I don't want to work and I just want to sit and watch reruns of Tiger King at the moment, or like just reruns of Netflix shows or football, whatever it is. Like, I just cannot be bothered to do anything. Don't beat yourself up if that's the moment, because the next day is a fresh day to start again. So that's the advice that I would give. And then finally, last question, because my battery looks like it's about to die. What's your plans with YouTube? You haven't been active in a while. Plans with YouTube is I'm going to use it as kind of a base of these videos, like Coffee with Paul. I really want to get that series going. Behind the Reel is another sort of series that I want to get going, especially during this time. I want some interviews with influencers and really kind of get to the nitty gritty of their day-to-day life, rather than the stuff that we see on YouTube and Instagram, like the morning routines and all of that jazz. And just use it as a platform to, again, connect. I'm so consumed on views on YouTube because YouTube was my biggest platform, and I'm so protective of YouTube as well. And in reality, what I'm learning is just to get stuff out there. Like, who knows? Just get stuff out there. As long as it gets 1 view and helps 1 person, like, that's all that matters to me. So that's really my plans for YouTube. I've got nothing solid, but all I know is I'm going to post more. Like, that's all I know. I'm not going to overthink the content. I'm not going to be protective of it. I'm just going to serve you guys, and hopefully I can help 1 person with every video. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Coffee with Paul. I can't remember what episode it is, but if you have any questions for the next one, let me know in the comments below. I'll be putting out little clips of this over on TikTok, over on Facebook, over on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Go follow me on those platforms as well for more content every single day. And it's been fun, I think, for me anyway. I don't know about you guys. This is free therapy for me, but I appreciate you listening all the way to this end, and you are awesome, and thank you so much. Speak soon. That felt good.